Conditions are safe and the dam is stable here along Panbull Lake, but many families are returning home to just now start the cleanup process.
As damage is revealed across the area from recent flooding, one Clay County school district is wondering how they'll have a sports season.
The governor visits a Central Kentucky regional vaccination site. Why he's thankful for the future and looking forward.
This is Wkyt News at 5:30.
Good evening to you. Families are now going back to their homes around Panbull Lake in Breathitt County. They were evacuated yesterday as a precaution.
There were concerns over erosion at the dam. Now the focus is on recovery. Meteorologist Adam Berniston shows us what needs to be cleaned up. It's our top story at 5:30.
Steve McIntosh has owned the Jackson Inn for 5 years now, and after this weekend's heavy rain and flooding led to the dam break along Panbull Lake, he says he's never seen it this bad for the area.
It's never got up this far. It got up in the parking lot a little bit behind me, just probably 7 or 8 feet. But it's never, this is, I guess what everybody says, a historical flooding.
He says about 6 inches of water got into his first floor rooms, and now he's left ripping out carpet, padding, and other items that cannot be cleaned. But even with the destruction to his building, he is staying optimistic.
I mean, I consider myself fortunate, looking at some of the personal property owners that lost their homes and vehicles and everything they had.
Now, as for the damage to the dam along Panbull Lake, officials say it is remaining stable and they're continuing to monitor it while they look for a permanent solution to fix it.
We may have to do a short-term fix, and then we may have to do something in the longer term as well.
One of those long-term plans could be something similar to what engineers did with the big slip along the Mountain Parkway last fall.
They'll use geotextile fabric and then rock to get in there to stabilize that, to make sure that there's no more problems with what had slipped there and water won't be coming back through.
In Breathitt County, meteorologist Adam Berniston, WKYT.
Elkin says the Transportation Cabinet does not have a timeline for when repairs will be made to that dam, but says engineers are working as quickly as possible. And we've been telling you about the marina that broke free on the Kentucky River this morning and floated downstream. We have some new video of the moment it collided right there with the Singing Bridge in downtown Frankfort this afternoon. The city took drone video. The marina came loose in Anderson County and floated for miles before hitting that bridge. It came apart when it hit the bridge. We'll have a live report from Frankfort ahead on WKYT News at 6.
Well, taking you back to Breathitt County now, folks are cleaning up a school there. Officials with the Riverside Christian School say high water damaged computers and school materials. Staff, volunteers, and even some students came together to start cleaning up. School administrator Shane Nee says having the community support means a lot.
To see all the love pouring out, it's brought the community together. God really shines in times like this, and he does it through people with the love, you know. So, yeah, it means a lot.
School officials are asking people to work together and to have some patience.
As the water recedes, we're seeing more and more of the damage left behind and how it will affect people going forward.
As Madison Pergram found out, flooding has put a Clay County baseball team season on hold.
From these tennis courts behind me to the baseball fields, as you can see, all destroyed by floodwaters this past weekend here in Clay County. The floodwater impacted 3 baseball fields where Clay County schools and little leagues play, from hundreds of feet of chain fences destroyed to equipment ruined and electrical problems. That is just the beginning. Fields here will have to be redone and buildings rebuilt, impacting seasons for all ages. Emergency Management Director David Watson says it is worse than he originally thought when he saw the water sitting on the fields.
I know it's going to take some time, and just community, just give us some time. We'll get it back to where it's a great place to come and bring your kids and enjoy this park.
They plan to have a community volunteer cleanup day sometime next week, and we'll keep you up to date on that as we learn more. In Clay County, Madison Pergram, WKYT.
The high school team is looking to play more games on the road to continue on with their season.
The city of Hazard is working to help flood victims. Officials are collecting donations. This is in partnership with Chad Works of Troy Gentry Foundation, as well as the Foundation for Appalachian Kentucky. Hazard's mayor listed off everything they're collecting.
So we're trying to get cleaning supplies, anything that you could think of, bleach, wipes, Clorox, mops, shovels, anything like that, toilet paper, paper towels, non-perishable food, you know, because when you have to evacuate your house in an emergency, you take very little with you.
Well, Bellini says they are accepting donations until Friday.
Well, the dry weather continues, and that's good, and hopefully it will help these communities start to dry out.
Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has the latest. And Chris, just seeing that sun mentally also helps you just feel a little bit better about things. And I know people are hurting, but
yeah, absolutely. Anything to lift some spirits right now. And this, you know, not only is the sunshine going to lift the spirits, hopefully, but it's also providing much needed relief. It's going to allow our ground that has just been obviously waterlogged to start to slowly dry out. It's also going to allow all those creeks and streams and to get back within their banks. Those are mainly down, and now the rivers are starting a downward trend as you get with that crest passing by. That crest on the Kentucky River still has to get through Frankfort here over the next few days. Live look at 9 different sky cams though, and this is what we are talking about. Look at that blue sky over top of Interstate 75 here into Rockcastle County. Got that same look to the sky in Lexington and across Louisville. Right now downtown Lexington is at 58 glorious degrees with that sunshine around. Temperatures getting close to 60 into most areas. Winds are out to the southwest at 9, so it's not going to be a big drop off in the thermometers tonight compared to what we had last night. 60s across the west, 50s in the east, and that is your dry radar picture. That is a dry picture that is going to show up for the next several days. We'll track it all for you in just a few.
All right. Thank you, Chris. Governor Beshear says he is hopeful after President Biden's announcement on vaccine supply. The governor says Kentucky's number of available doses is growing.
WKYT's Jim Stratman went to a Frankfort regional vaccination site this morning where the governor happened to stop by.
As communities around the Commonwealth deal with the problems that Mother Nature has brought, Governor Beshear provided more uplifting news.
So we're waking up today to a tough reality of what this flooding and what these storms have done. But we are also waking up to good, even great news about the timetable for ending this pandemic.
The governor thanked the vaccination site workers in Frankfort this morning and expressed the gratitude of those people who have gotten and will get a vaccine shot. Tuesday, President Biden's announcement that the country will have enough vaccinations for all adults by the end of May outlined the hopeful feeling the governor brought to the podium.
We've had increases week after week. Even before Johnson & Johnson, we'd increased about 70%. The timetable to ending this virus has been moved up and moved up significantly.
The governor said at the end of February, the state had vaccinated more than 700,000 people and hoped to double that number in the month of March alone. The governor reiterated that everyone in Kentucky deserves to have an equal opportunity to get a vaccine shot when it's their time. Right now, people in phase 1B and 1C can schedule an appointment to get a shot. But with the increase in supply, the governor is hoping that in the next couple of months, we could look forward to the next phase of vaccine rollout.
We have a historic obligation to meet this moment, a critical, important moment. And we need to make sure we do it in a responsible way that sets the right standard moving forward.
The governor said the state is expecting 36,500 doses to come to the Commonwealth this week. Reporting in Frankfort, Jim Stratman, WKYT.
And so as we continue to watch vaccines roll out across Kentucky, we're here to answer your questions. The first question, I'm helping a family member schedule her first vaccine dose. The sites I used require the patient's insurance card be uploaded. I thought insurance was not a requirement. The vaccine is being purchased with U.S. taxpayer dollars. Your insurance may be billed for an office visit or administration fee for administration of the vaccine. However, no one can be turned away from receiving the vaccine due to lack of insurance or ability to pay. That's really important. Next question. I'm a 49-year-old Bourbon County resident who works 2 jobs. One is as a grocery store worker. I went online several times to get an appointment for the vaccine, and all sites say appointments unavailable. Where should I go to get the vaccine? As an essential worker, you're part of Phase 1C, along with approximately 1.3 million other Kentuckians, a lot of folks. So keep trying. Check with the Bourbon County Health Department. Try Walgreens, independent pharmacies, part of the Good Neighbor Pharmacy Group, Kroger, and Walmart. Consider the Kentucky Horse Park, which is one of the state's regional vaccination sites, or the UK Healthcare mass vaccination site at Kroger Field. Next question, is asthma considered high risk by the Centers for Disease Control? The Kentucky Cabinet for Health and Family Services does not list asthma as one of the CDC high-risk conditions, putting someone in phase 1C. And will the COVID-19 vaccine be an annual shot? Good question. It's too early to know that. Scientists are still studying this. For more information from the vaccine team, open your smartphone's camera and aim it at this QR code. The link to the vaccine team page should pop right up. You can email us questions to vaccineteam@wkyt.com.
Saturday marks 1 year since Kentucky's first confirmed case of COVID-19. Tonight, we are asking you to join us for Coronavirus, a community conversation. We are talking to the state's first COVID-19 patient, a woman from my hometown of Cynthiana. We're also interviewing a panel of frontline medical experts. It airs tonight at 7 right here on WKYT, so we hope that you'll join us. A Berea woman had a lucky day cashing out a winning lottery ticket. Which store sold that winning ticket next?
I'm Bill Bryant. A push to lure jobs to Kentucky with tax breaks. And the Secretary of State says next year's legislative and congressional races will be run in new districts. Coming up.
Your congressional district may be different by the time you head to the polls in 2022.
And a bill in the state legislature could make business easier for small breweries in Kentucky. Bill Bryant tells us all about the proposed change in tonight's Bottom Line.
Good evening. While a lot of attention is right now on Kentucky's immediate effort to deal with the flooding, the state legislature is dealing with several long-term issues, and work is also continuing behind the scenes on a state budget. This week, lawmakers have been advancing a proposal to give high-tech companies tax breaks, hoping that will help lure job-creating facilities to the state. The Herald Leader reports the fiscal note attached to the House bill says the revenue loss to state government could be substantial if a large number of companies took advantage. Proponents hope that would be offset by taxes paid by those who got jobs as a result. Microbreweries are pressing the state legislature to relax some rules on their sales. Right now, the operations have to sell to distributors and then make it available to restaurants and other outlets through that. But Senate Bill 15 would let small breweries move their product directly to some other businesses. They say it would not impact larger brewing companies. Kentucky's legislative and congressional district lines will likely be redrawn before next year's elections. Secretary of State Michael Adams says he is very, very confident of that. He said on the most recent edition of Kentucky Newsmakers, he believes candidates in 2022 will be running in new districts, even if that means the filing deadline has to be pushed back in some cases.
The big thing that's going to lead to potential confusion is what the lines are going to be. We're at that point, the decennial redrawing of the lines for county offices, for state offices, for federal offices. That happens, usually it would happen in this year, in this session. Right now they can't do that because they don't have census data yet. That's been delayed from Washington. So we're expecting to get that information this summer or fall. And then there will either be a special session, presumably, to draw those lines, or they'll take it up at the beginning of the next session in January.
You believe the 2022 elections will be run with new district lines?
Yeah, I'm very, very confident of that.
Kentucky Newsmakers airs on TV Sunday mornings, and you can see it on demand anytime on WKYT.com. The State School Board Association says at least 129 of Kentucky's 171 school districts have announced plans to hold in-person classes 4 or 5 days a week. And more announcements are expected by the end of this week. Bill Bryant, WKYT.
A Berea woman is celebrating a big lottery win. The anonymous winner played the Blizzard bingo game. She says she tried to cash the ticket in at the same place she bought it, the Circle K on Richmond Road in Berea. Her prize of $72,000 was too much for the store to pay out. The store will receive about $700 for selling the lottery ticket. The winner plans to buy a truck with the money.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Thermometers this afternoon into the upper 50s and low 60s for much of the region, and it's been a clean sky, gorgeous sky at that. Take a look at the temps as of right now. We are running into the upper 50s to right at 60 in the Bluegrass area. We're a little behind that across the southeastern corner of the state. I don't think we'll complain about a 55, 56, 57 degree thermometer. Western Kentucky into the low and the mid 60s. From the downtown Lexington cam, we've got beautiful blue skies showing up. How about the campus of Morehead State University? We've got the sun that is ready to call it quits behind the mountain coming up here shortly. It's a campus here, by the way, on the bottom of your screen. First Alert Radar Network, not a cloud in the sky for most of the Commonwealth. Bounce it out, see what we can find, you guys. And nearest real cloud cover is into the Great Lakes or parts of the deep south. That's where the storm track is located now. It's in the deep south because we got a little colder brand of air coming into play for the next several days, and that is going to keep our temps below normal, but it's going to keep your sky blue. It's going to keep it dry right on through the upcoming weekend as that front drops its way on in from northeast to southwest. So into your Thursday we go, sun and clouds, although more sun than clouds. Another dry one, not quite as mild as today. We'll have to settle for upper 40s in the north, low and mid 50s for the rest of the region, which is still pretty nice. Forecast breakdown with a nice one on Thursday, Friday and into Saturday. The numbers really come down. We'll start both days in the 20s, so frost in the morning, and by the afternoon, it's generally mid and upper 40s, but you keep that sunshiny sky. Let's walk you into all of this hour-by-hour forecast throughout this evening. It's not as quick of a drop as what we had last night. We dropped quickly below freezing. We'll be 40 or above right on through 11. Then late tonight, winds are still gusty. Here comes that cold front dropping in from the northeast to the southwest. So the temperature trend out ahead of this is just a little cooler in the north. But what's happening is that front, the push of colder air behind it, actually arrives more tomorrow night into Friday. So tomorrow's another day where most of us should be able to hit 50 or a little better. Then look what happens when you wake up on your Friday morning. It's upper 20s, and by Friday afternoon, as we roll into the start of that weekend with temperatures, that will be into the mid 40s for the most part with a fair sky and just a hint of some clouds coming into play. You know it is a really nice and dry pattern when I'm pointing out some clouds showing up on the hour-by-hour forecast, because that's all I got to talk about until next week when the temperature gives us a little case of spring fever at 70 for a high, and that'll be our next threat for a shower or thunderstorm by the middle and end of next week.
Chris, thank you. How and will people have to prove they've been vaccinated against COVID-19? Next, we dig deeper into vaccine passports.
Governments and businesses are considering a way for people to prove that they have been vaccinated against COVID-19.
Vaccine passports could determine who can travel, stay at a hotel, or even visit a bar. Israel is already using them, and the European Union just proposed them. The U.S. hasn't decided yet. Roxana Sabiri has today's Consumer Alert.
Israelis must now scan in to get in to gyms, hotels, even concerts like this.
It is all set in the telephone. It's very convenient.
For more than 3 million Israelis and counting, this is the ticket back to some kind of normalcy. The government-issued Green Pass shows personal details and proves they've had 2 doses of a COVID-19 vaccine. Now countries across Europe and beyond are considering similar so-called vaccine passports or immunity certificates to inject life back into a flagging tourism industry and revive businesses and hospitality, like pubs. The UK is studying whether to introduce vaccine certificates.
Yep, all good.
We've never thought in terms of having something that you have to show to go to a pub or a theatre. And so there are deep and complex issues.
Issues like potential discrimination against people who don't want a jab, along with those who can't get one for medical reasons or because there's not enough supply.
So these people won't be able to participate in life, in public life, in social life, in economic life in the same way as their counterparts who have been vaccinated.
Claire Wenham from the London School of Economics says data privacy is another concern.
Is it going to be something that's digital and tracks you? And that obviously opens a whole different range of conversations.
But as governments debate immunity certificates, businesses are pushing ahead. Some cruises and airlines, for instance, say they'll require proof of inoculation to board. The WHO tells CBS News it opposes requiring vaccines for travel as long as the global supply is limited and their ability to stop the spread of the virus is not yet clear. Roxana Saberi, CBS News, London.
Next, we are in Frankfurt, where part of a loose marina hit a bridge and broke apart. We're tracking the latest for you on WKYT News at 6.